If you want to drink less, and you want to eat better, and you want to be happier, but all your friends are doing the opposite, it's going to sabotage your relationship.
Yeah, definitely. So anyway, alcohol, too much TV, unhealthy relationships can all sabotage your retirement. It affects your health in bigger ways than you might be able to imagine.
You know, we all enter retirement with a dream of what it's going to be like. After all, we've all worked tirelessly for 30 years or more to get here.
But what if we don't allow ourselves all of the full opportunities and actually sabotage our dreams with distractions?
If we don't give ourselves every advantage, we can fall short of our dreams and expectations and fail at retirement.
You know, today we're going to talk to you about some common distractions that can derail how we all live this third phase of life. By eliminating these distractions, your retirement will be more predictable and much more enjoyable.
Now, we only get to do this once, and clearly the window is closing, right? We're getting older every day. So let's do this right and live our best life ever.
All right, let's jump in.
Okay.
The first distraction we want to talk about is alcohol. We are not going to preach that you need to quit altogether, but we do want us all to be honest with the amount that we are putting in our bodies each day.
You know, when at the end of our career, before we actually retired, the last year, Jody and I had this great routine. We'd come home from work, we'd open a bottle of white wine, we'd prep dinner together, and then we'd have dinner and have a red bottle of wine. And that actually went on for quite some time.
It really did. And it was part of a routine, right? And that's what some of these distractions do. They get into your life as a routine. You know, today we still drink socially, or I'll grab a great bottle of wine to celebrate.
But we cut back a lot.
But we did cut back a lot. And most of it was because some of the research that we did, and honestly, how we were feeling in our bodies. You know, some studies do show 1 glass of red wine every day is good for the health.
Right. But the CDC makes it really clear that excessive alcohol leads to development of all kinds of chronic illnesses. You can get high blood pressure, heart disease, stroke, liver disease, digestive problems. I had huge high blood sugar problems because of wine.
Alcohol also weakens your immune system, you know, creates some learning and memory problems, which we don't need at this phase of life, enhances anxiety, and, you know, starts to drive some mental health issues. And honestly, that list can go on.
Right. So how do we change that without being dramatic
and really change your relationship with alcohol in general?
I love that you said that.
Right?
Yeah, it's all about having a different relationship with alcohol. The first thing you can do is listen to your bodies. That's what I did. You know, I got tired of hangovers. Clearly you can't drink and drive. It definitely affected our sex life. It affects relationships. And really, how much alcohol is enough when you're out drinking?
And, you know, to be honest with you, the amount you're drinking, you have to really sit down and think about. You know, sometimes I'll say, well, I just had 1 glass of wine. Well, I did have 1 glass of wine. It was 1 12-ouncer maybe, but it was 1 glass of wine.
Well, you had 1 glass of wine twice.
Yeah, or I had the same glass of wine twice. Or if you're at a restaurant, and this does happen to me, quite frankly, and you order a bottle of wine and there's a bunch of people at the table, I only remember the guy filling it up once, but I felt pretty crappy the next day,
You kept tipping him
right?
under the table.
No, I wasn't. You know, and so you have to make a decision. You know, do you want to quit? Do you want to drink less? Listen to your body.
Yeah. And the other thing is we don't want to make light of this. But if you do have a serious drinking problem and it's affecting everything that we talked about and you need help, go get it. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. We have this good friend, John, who, you know, he's a good drinker, but he decided in paying attention to his body that he wanted to drink less. He found this app that I'd never heard of.
I'd never heard of it
and
either.
We're going to put it in the comments below. It's called Reframe. Reframe, Reframe, and it's the #1 alcohol reduction app. So he has worked wonders with that thing and really, really loves it. So that's a new find that we just got this week.
And I think you're right. You know, maybe people do need professional help, and it's not to be embarrassed about, right? If you're doing it to make a change, to better your life and the life of the people you care about,
Right.
I would never be embarrassed about that.
All right. The second distraction that can sabotage your retirement is watching too much TV.
And this is super prevalent in retirement.
And the wrong kind of TV. I mean, this is something that you just have to be super, super careful of.
You know, the good news about retirement is you have a lot more time. You actually become time affluent.
Yeah, and there was an age wave survey study done that the average number of hours a person over 65 watches TV is 43 hours a week.
It's a full-time job.
It's longer than maybe when you were, near the end of your career. 43 hours of TV a week, I think we all would agree,
is lot.
Too much.
Yeah,
Our
definitely
friend,
too much.
Our friend John, who retired after a 40-year career, he retired in June, probably 4 years ago, and he just wanted a break.
Right.
Which
we all do, right? You retire and you want a break.
He still got up early, went out for his cup of coffee, got home at 9. He started watching daytime TV from 9 until noon. Game show channel. He watched 5 days a week, 9 till noon, all the old game shows.
The thing I think you need to remember is, and we all know this, but it's good to bring it up, TV is a sedentary activity, right? It leads to other serious health issues. Obesity is tied to sedentary nature. Not enough sleep or your quality of sleep is tied to too much screen time. Depression and anxiety can come. And quite frankly, I don't know how a lot of people watch those kind of Bravo kind of reality shows.
Yeah.
I mean, they get me anxious just watching some of
Well,
it.
the other thing, an easy step is just to don't watch TV for 2 hours before you go to bed. That's
Yeah.
going to help with your sleep.
Very true.
But anyway, the other thing that TV does, it feeds you with false information.
It can.
Now, it can.
Right.
No, it does.
It can.
It does.
Okay.
It depends what channel you watch and what you're watching. But I remember growing up, and I'm going to age myself now, but we watched the evening news with Walter Cronkite. It was news. It wasn't his opinion. It wasn't slanted in any way. It was true news reporting, and it was the truth. Today, it's really hard to determine what is the truth. The same topic on 3 different networks, 3 different stories.
Well, I think there's more to it, right? I mean, it can create a divisive culture, in your family, especially some of the political news. I'll just throw that out there. The other thing is, some of the commercials that come up, I know especially for me as a woman, they can create some self-esteem issues, with either weight or the selling of prescription drugs. You see all these people living their best life and you're sitting on your couch thinking, is this my best life?
Right.
So, sometimes just cutting back on this TV makes a big difference. But what can people do instead?
Well, so what you can do is, like we both have said several times, cut back on the number of hours of TV. We did that. We did that big time. We watch one 1-hour show a night, if we watch it, but just one on
Netflix or Prime
I don't know.
or something.
I'm not sure we're watching
Hulu
right now or something.
Yellowstone. What do you mean you don't?
Yellowstone, season 5 or 6.
Yeah.
So it's entertainment. We enjoy it. It's an hour together, and then we talk about it afterwards or the next day, and we watch 1/2 hour of news a day. That's it.
Yeah, I think it's important. Pick carefully what you watch and make it pure entertainment if that's what you want. But regardless of what you do, spending too much time sitting in front of the TV will shorten your life.
Right.
That's for sure.
Right. All right, so the third distraction that we see that sabotages people's retirements is maintaining and keeping unhealthy relationships. And unhealthy relationships for us means people that have bad habits that lead us into an unhealthy direction.
In our online course, relationships, that piece of it, we detail 3 different kinds of relationships. The kind that you want to invest and grow in, the people that are really adding to your life and your experiences. And the second is people you maintain. They're people in your life and you love them and you see them enough and everything is just right. And the last one is...
The last one is fade, dissolve. And these are those relationships that really are unhealthy for you. They really don't bring... It's not that they don't bring value, but they bring danger. They bring stress, anxiety. And this is a hard call. You can't just call people up and say, hey, I don't want to hang out with you anymore. But if you're spending more time with the people that are bringing you value and you enjoy it, then you don't have as much time for these folks. So it's really something that you need to think carefully about.
Yeah, it's not easy to cut people out of your life, but it's critical. And spending time with people that don't bring fun or energy or interesting conversation, can be stressful, and it can make you feel that you're kind of losing time.
When we first retired and we started to go out to dinner with couples and things like that, Jody always had this saying, particularly with a couple that we didn't really want to go out with, but we did anyway, and we kept testing it.
Yeah, great.
You would say, we're never going to get that time back. And it was kind of funny, but these are people we don't see anymore,
Right.
and you have to do that. If you want to drink less, and you want to eat better, and you want to be happier, but all your friends are doing the opposite, it's going to sabotage your relationship.
Yeah, definitely. So anyway, alcohol, too much TV, unhealthy relationships can all sabotage your retirement. It affects your health in bigger ways than you might be able to imagine.
Now, watch this next video right over here, taking control of your time. We give you 5 strategies to make sure you don't waste away your days.